Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Expectant mothers and families in southern Tasmania have been thrown support with extra federal funding to expand services. The state's health minister is confident demand will be met, despite HealthScope's decision to cease its maternity services from August.
Days after the alarm was sounded of an upcoming shortage of maternity services in Hobart, the federal government has extended a $6 million helping hand to Tasmania's health system.
To pick up the slack really left by HealthScope closing maternity services.
The funding will improve infrastructure and equipment at both the Royal Hobart and Calvary Hospital in Lenna Valley, helping add 5 extra beds in the maternity ward at the state's largest hospital and a new mother and baby unit at St John's Park in Newtown. It's hoped to be completed by the end of the year.
It is a win for both Calvary and for the Royal Hobart Hospital, but more importantly for the women, the mothers and fathers of Tasmania.
The closure of Hobart Private Hospital's maternity services in mid-August, leaving from 460 to 600 births to cover. While welcoming the federal investment, the midwifery union fears the workforce could struggle to cope.
If we don't see those midwives from Hobart Private taking up positions either at the Royal or at Calvary, there is going to be a significant shortfall. Concerns
echoed by the opposition.
What is the state government going to do about the staffing crisis that they have in the THS right now, with a critical shortage of midwives and other health professionals?
But the state health minister's confident in their plans, from $15,000 relocation payments to scholarships and employing student midwives.
We're pulling out all the levers to ensure that we do have the midwifery workforce now and into the future.
Calvary's national CEO also supportive of the Commonwealth's assistance, but says it will still need the backing of private health insurers to maintain its maternity services in Lenna Valley. Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, specialist investigators will be appointed to examine the conduct of a former Tasmanian police officer charged with accessing child abuse material online. Dale Cook was arrested on Sunday following a joint operation between state and federal police. He was stood down from duty and has since resigned. Commissioner Donna Adams says the investigation will examine his full career to determine whether any other alleged criminal offending occurred during his time with the service. Cook will face court again next month. New aerial vision has revealed just how close the West Coast bushfires came to threatening one of Tasmania's oldest trees, a Huon pine. One environment group claiming much of the species was destroyed, prompting calls for future fire responses to be faster.
Weeks after multiple blazes tore through the west, the damage caused is now in the spotlight. The Bob Brown Foundation claims a special Tasmanian tree species was affected.
Huon pines are dead, destroyed, they've collapsed, they're across the Harmon River, and this fire has burnt the babies.
The state government refutes this, saying its own aerial surveys of the vegetation along the Harmon and Wilson rivers found the ancient tree species to be intact and undamaged, including a 3,000-year-old Huon pine, understood to be the oldest of its kind.
There's been massive work that's been put in on the west coast and in the overland track to protect these sensitive vegetation types.
The 3,000-year-old tree wasn't saved by the government, it was saved because nature didn't burn into it.
Vision captured by wilderness photographer Rob Blakers paints a bleak picture. He says extensive damage was caused to pines across a 400-metre stretch of the Harmon River area.
There would have been dozens of pines killed, including a smaller number of those were large trees of that size, which would have been, close to 1,000 years old.
NRE scientists say some scorched Huon pines might survive.
The much older trees, they don't seem to have sustained any damage. They are often in tight groves that have been protected from fire just because of their physical nature.
With calls now to bolster our state's fire service, ensuring one of Tasmania's most precious assets can be better protected.
This is the best example of a landscape full of Huon pines, and this fire burnt within literally a handful of metres, less than 10 metres.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Red tape isn't the only thing Housing Minister Felix Ellis was cutting on a visit to a Burnie plumber's workshop, announcing more changes to building regulations aimed at speeding up new homes by skipping council approval on standard plumbing installations. They will still need to notify councils and be subject to inspection.
But rather than the middle step that can cost weeks waiting for that permit to come through, our highly qualified plumbers will be able to get on with the job.
We'll be able to get in and get the job done. It'll be the same plumbers working to the same high standards, but more efficiently.
Meanwhile, a fresh round of public consultation is underway on development assessment panels, which would allow certain projects to bypass the council approval process. From the fashions to the fillies, thousands have spent the day trackside, sending off a summer of racing in style. Organisers say crowd numbers are up on last year as a bumper crowd turned out to the Launceston Cup.
Off and racing. The fanfare of Cup Day in full flight.
The atmosphere, the horses, everything, it's great. It's a great day.
Definitely a not miss. It's in one of the best times in Tasmania for weather, and it's a great time to get up and get dressed up.
Racegoers deeming it the perfect day for a punt, keeping bookies swamped.
I'll take out some winnings on the Cup. I'll be more worried about how my horses go and how that all finishes up.
While animal rights protesters said nup to the Cup, others swapped the mounting yard for the runway.
I actually work as a race steward when I'm not here. Surprised, but happy, obviously.
A bet with her husband means the first-time Fashions on the Field winner is about to take the fashion stakes to new heights.
If either of us win, we're gonna go skydiving together. It looks like we're going skydiving.
Betting on a big turnout, a winner for organisers. Crowd numbers up on previous years.
We're up 2,500 people. Nice day, good weather, good racing, bit of fun.
Away from the track, it's still all about the fun.
Good day to be here. Day off work. Yeah, we're here for the champagne.
Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
A tech startup based in southern Tasmania has developed the first underwater remote vehicle used to repair fishing nets. The company has their eyes on exporting the designs globally, focusing on breaking into the Norwegian market.
It might look complex to the untrained eye, but this impressive remotely operated vehicle known as an ROV has a simple task when it comes to maintaining underwater netting.
The good thing about this ROV, which is called the Apama, which is named after cuttlefish because of the way it moves, can actually go down inside the pens, inspect it, find the hole, repair it.
It's operated by a human from the surface with a remote control.
The ROVs are designed and built by company SoSub in Kingston and can work at depths of up to 300 metres. Its net repair system, a world first.
It crimps the material to the net and then it can free fly, like a spider feeding web out. It can free fly to the other side of a hole and it can actually winch the hole back together.
SoSub has recently started distributing ROVs across the country, but this year the company is casting its net a little wider. It's hoping to expand to Norway, a world leader in aquaculture, accounting for 40% of the global market.
Yeah, their nets are even deeper than what we've got here. They've got submerged pens, they're up to 100 metres deep.
And the order book is looking healthy, with a Norwegian company already jumping on board.
He's looking at buying 200 units off us, and in quick comparison, they produce 11,800 tonnes of salmon per day.
We have invested $20,000 by way of a grant into this technology to help this get started.
And it seems the company is only just getting started.
We'll expand out to Scotland, UK, and Chile, New Zealand, aiming pretty big, but Norway's the biggest, so we thought we'd start there.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
A Tasmanian independent MP says gambling companies shouldn't be able to profit off criminal proceeds. Christy Johnston looking to push a new bill through Parliament. It would give the Supreme Court powers to request money be returned if a punter is found to have used stolen funds. She says many in the community support the change.
They've been calling out for justice for victims in the community, victims of crime, from those who are addicted to gambling, to have that stolen money returned back to them.
In Australia, whenever something is stolen and recovered, it is returned to the original owner. There is one exception.
State Parliament returns next week. Not to be outdone by the notorious Burnie chips, Devonport now has a sculpture of its own welcoming people to town. Crafted by local sculptor Matt Calvert out of recycled glass, it's the first of 7 to be installed between East Devonport and Don. They'll feature lighting which can change to reflect weather conditions. The works are funded by a $1.5 million art grant from the state and federal governments. A Hobart-based community program is celebrating 30 years of helping some of Tasmania's most vulnerable. Homebase's Eureka Clubhouse has stood strong, giving Tasmanians struggling with mental health challenges the tools to help overcome barriers.
David knows how isolating it can be when navigating mental health challenges. It's been Eureka Clubhouse's mission to make Tasmanians like David feel less alone.
I came here in 2011 because I'd had family tragedies of people dying, and came here because I'd isolated through that.
It offers non-clinical support through inclusive education and life skills programs.
Do the barista coffee. That's one of the courses I did here. I've done a bit of cooking, a little bit of gardening, a bit of music.
It's a really safe space for them to come and have a really scheduled day where they're making decisions for themselves with other people, getting back in the community.
Helping the community for 3 decades, aiming to break down stigmas associated with mental health.
We can all play sport or have a job or have a hobby. Even if you've got mental health, you can still do those things. You might do it differently, but you can still function.
As well as giving people with lived experience a safe space to connect.
If you can meet somebody that's been through anxiety like you have, or whatever it is, or isolation, they've got lived experience about how to help you with it.
Its services also aiming to reduce the risk of homelessness and hospital admissions resulting from mental health crises.
The important thing is to have early intervention around psychosocial supports for people's mental health. To do that, you need a place that is safe for people to come, where they trust the people.
It's more than just a place for Tasmanians to go, but a place to call home.
Helped me so much, just informing friendships, hobbies. It just really helps you reconnect with community.
Rebecca Gardinero, 7 Tasmania News.
Organisers of the Longford Truck Run are confident more wheels will be on the road than ever before when it kicks into gear for a 42nd time this weekend. The annual charity drive raises vital funds for the Royal Flying Doctor Service and is on track to smash a $40,000 target this year.
In the last 4 years, we've given them $102,000. So that's pretty fantastic effort from all the businesses and people across Tasmania.
The run starts at Glebe on Sunday morning before finishing at the Longford Showgrounds.
It'll no doubt be a big night for Longford trainer Peter Luttrell after claiming the Launceston Cup on his very first crack in a finish for the ages. 5-year-old gelding Distrustful Award doubling its career prize money in a flash. The roughie barrelling down the straight with Anthony Damanin at the reins to claim the Group 3 in a nail-biter.
I thought he was going to run a place, and then I thought, about 100 out, I thought, geez, he's going to grab these, and I got a bit excited. I was pumping the air. He's a lovely horse, and he's just a dead set stayer, and Dharma rode him a treat.
The horse coming from the back of the field to finish half a length ahead of Interstate Nag, Promises Kept, ridden by Melbourne Cup winner Mark Zara. Hobart trained Kahlua Falls, a length third. Burnie International runner-up Omar Jasika has suffered an early end to his run in Launceston. The Aussie top seed bowing out in his round 1 match after a final set tie-break against American Joshua Shee. 3 Australians remain in the women's draw after Queenslander Kayla McPhee also suffered an opening round loss against Japan's Erika Seema.
Good evening. Hobart reached 29 today, 27 trackside in Launceston, Devonport 21 and 22 the maximum at Burnie. Further out it was 30 on Flinders Island, Grove and Bushy Park 29, 28 at Strawn, Friendly Beaches 27, 24 on King Island, Maria Island and at St Helens. Luncheon Hill 23, 22 at Low Head and also Lyoweni. A band of high cloud is seen moving over the state with some patchy cloud about the west. A band of high cloud lies to the west of Tasmania with a cold front well to the south of the Bight. Tomorrow the high extends further across the Tasman Sea. South to southwesterly winds increasing upward of 20 knots, southwesterly swells building to 2.5 metres. A cloudy day in Hobart tomorrow, 23, a bit of cloud too in Cygnet, 24. Possible showers on the way in New Norfolk with 27 expected there. 26 and partly cloudy in Launceston, a couple of showers in Devonport, 22, 25 and cloudy at Campbelltown. Burnie, cloudy too, 22, much the same at Strawn with 21, fine and sunny at Smithton with 24. Cloudy skies extending to the east at Helens 22, Swansea 23 and 24 the top at Fingal. To the 3-day forecast now, showers about the west on Friday extending statewide. Showers continue about the west on Saturday, becoming more frequent during the evening, extending to the far south a little later. And on Sunday, more showers for the west with most temperatures in the low to mid-20s. To mainland conditions now for Thursday. Partly cloudy in Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne tomorrow, fine in Canberra 34, sunny skies in Sydney 29 and a scorching 41 degrees in Alice Springs. Partly cloudy in Hobart right now, 20 degrees. Partly cloudy also in Launceston with 22, but mostly clear at Devonport. And that's the midweek weather, Kim.
Okay, thanks, Kai. Nice to have you here. And that brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin. For now, on behalf of the news team, it's good night.